the movie opens in some ancient ritual sacrifice.
Oh yeah, in the past.
Of a young naked woman by old sweaty men. And immediately I'm like, Greg, he's done it again.
So I have terrible news for you about bargain basement schlock movies.
Yeah, I know it.
They lean heavily on the TNA. My wife just interrupted the podcast recording to let me know it's takeout night because she dropped the glass container full of shredded chicken, and she said, I remember your peanut nightmare. That's a fun story. Let's tell that story. When I was a young man, my mom had a very outsized opinion of ourselves. She thought that we were well-to-do when we were well-to-not, and decided that as a marker of that, she would not purchase peanut butter, Jif peanut butter, in those newfangled plastic jars. Hell no. She stuck with glass. And so one morning, while preparing my lunch, probably in a manic, depressive haze, she dropped said glass jar of peanut butter. And because we were well-to-not as opposed to well-to-do, attempted to salvage said peanut butter and sent me to school with glass shard peanut butter, which is why Greg, for a very long time, hated chunky peanut butter.
Oh, did you swallow any glass?
No. I just found out that I was just like, can't chew. Ah!
Jeez, that's dangerous. Jesus.
So much of my childhood was so dangerous. It's Midnight Local.
Man. Yeah. All right. All right. Well, okay. Midnight Local with Meredith and Greg. We watched a movie called Blood Tide.
Yeah.
Greg, I'm not a man, so I can't answer this question. But can you tell me, how do you cut a watermelon?
You don't cut watermelon with a knife.
Oh, big knife.
With a knife. I forgot. So, yeah, he just like cracks it over his knee, right?
No, he just punches it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I actually had that same reaction, and my thought was like, fuck, I gotta up my game. That is some man shit.
Oh, there you go. If you record yourself opening a watermelon that way, and we'll make a short out of it.
So I don't know, but that might be like a cultural thing, though. That might have been something that James Earl Jones brought to set as, I presume, a Southern person. I don't know.
Oh, maybe. I think he was just being I think his character was just like a jerk, and he was just laying it on thick.
In any event, it was a wonderful choice by a brilliant performer.
It is kind of a wonderful choice.
James Earl Jones. Okay, so it's been a minute since I watched this movie, and I was almost certainly under the influence when I did. So I am going to rely on Meredith to walk me through this. But I do recall being kind of blown away by the weirdness of this sort of mostly forgotten psychosexual horror film with James Earl Jones and Kreese from the Karate Kid in it.
Yeah, Karate Kid guy.
Not doing a heel turn, being kind of the good guy here.
He's your hero, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so are you familiar with Master Rakas?
Oh, I am.
You are? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So he's the co-writer of this movie.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a writer-director, but he put this movie in the hands of Richard Jefferies, who I guess was 24 years old at the time, which might account for some of the weirdness.
So here's the thing. I have seen probably 4 or more Master Rakas films now, because they've been doing like a kind of a retrospective of him on Night Flight, How to Drink, the official unofficial podcast of Night Flight Plus.
And is that why this one's up there? Is it in that group? No, this is separate.
No. Yeah, this was up there. And honestly, I think I may have even watched this on Shudder before I got deep down into Night Flight. I only discovered that it was a Master Rakas joint when I went and looked him up on IMDb. Master Rakas is, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right,
I think so,
perhaps the most insane bad director I love his his movies are indescribably weird.
I looked up his filmography. For people who do know him, he's best known for Island of Death, Hired to Kill, Naked Truth.
Yeah.
In the Cold of the Night.
Oh God, that movie. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah. So here's the thing. best known for. Very, like, sure, in relative terms, best known for, but amongst people who know him, like, he's not a well-known director. So, for clarity, his movies, some of them aspire to being Cinemax late-night softcore. You might call them erotic thrillers. Some of them are qualified as just pure erotica, which is pornography without penetration.
Just so funny because, lately he seems to be making documentaries. Like, he made a documentary about Mykonos. Yeah.
You know,
he's just... seems like he does it all. Writer, director, producer, late night TV stuff. Like, all over the place. All over the map.
Always just... in all the films of his I've seen, they center on the weirdest, just, like, concept insert. For example, Blind Date, which is one I think we should do on the show.
Okay. I was going to ask you or the audience if there was one you thought we should do for this show.
I think we should certainly do that. Men of my generation, this movie would be of interest to you because you get to see both Kirstie Alley and Deanna Troi topless in this movie. So just
Kirstie Alley from the 80s. Let's just clarify.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Now then, I don't care. Definitely
not MAGA Kirstie Alley.
Boobs can never be MAGA. That's...
tell that to some plastic surgeons out there.
Well, hey, no. This is why we lost the election. That crosses party lines, Meredith. No. That's a universal truth.
You can put them on. You just can't take them off, Greg.
Oh, that's funny. Well, wait. Okay.
Gender affirming care. You can put them on. You just can't take them off.
Gotcha. That's true. Maybe that's true. Yeah.
A little bit true. There's some truth. There's some truth to all humor.
Well, you can reverse your plan. Like, I've known women who got the implants and decided to ditch them.
Yeah.
So you can take them off.
Be careful with they might start cracking down on that.
Sure, yeah. I don't know. What's their stance on, like, medical necessities?
Are you carrying a baby, or are you just getting your boobs done?
No. Like, you got, like, the cancer and they yank them off. Is that?
They'll let you take them off if they're cancerous.
Yeah, in some states. In other states, in other states, you have to bring that cancer to full term, whether you want it or not.
That's right. If you're carrying a baby and the baby might need them, then maybe you'll have to keep them.
Yeah. Okay. We believe it or not, I could keep going on this because I was about to get into some news piece. I remember. I'll let you guys figure that one out in the comments. It was about boob removal. And a great sin. But you know what? People are going to politicize that stupid joke. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So, I wanted to talk about that writer because I feel like for people out there who know who Master Rakas is, it sort of informs the tone of this movie to a degree.
So Blind Date is a movie about an ad executive who loses his eyesight in a fist fight, or he falls. I don't know. It's just like, and then he is blind. Like, I feel like that's how he wrote it. He must be blind, but not from birth. And just like become blind. And he spends 2 days like with a doctor who's like, you might recover. And he's like, I don't care. I'm giving up on it. I'm going for this experimental treatment. Everybody's just like, it's been 2 days, man. No way. I'm going to the crazy guy. And the crazy guy comes up with, I've got this new technology. It's a Sony Walkman that lets you see with a tape recorder. And that's from there, we are off to the races. So we should check that one out at some point. But why
don't we do it? Why don't we do it next? Like, I love that. Yeah, I love sort of following up a piece of work. But
we could. But have you yet seen Tammy and the T-Rex?
I'm going to watch it this week. Or actually, Ray said we could watch it tonight. So
that's going to be fun. You'll enjoy. Yeah.
So we'll do Blind Date and in that one in the next crop.
Blind Date will be painful for you, but.
So yeah, and this one, I'm not going to say it's bad, but it does rank at the bottom of what we've watched so far. And in that list, I'm including Serial Mom. Angel. And Dead and Buried.
Okay, so first off, Serial Mom and Dead and Buried are fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And Angel has so many qualities to appreciate.
Yeah.
This movie is just base schlock.
But it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying not as excited about it as the other ones. Didn't quite get there. Didn't quite make good on its promises.
Really?
And there were a lot of promises.
Okay, I want to hear about that. We are really hooking the audience here. This movie, not great.
Also, it's not great. No, it's not great. You're right. It's not.
So here's the things I love about it. Let's talk about what's great about it.
It's not bad. Well,
hold on a second. Let's talk about what's great about it. Just from a craft standpoint.
Yeah.
It makes really good use of its location and geography and geometry. And the shot structure, the editing, like it's very competently made. It's just like kind of a little movie. It's just kind of a little slight horror film that's not really that horrific.
I said what the film has going for it is atmosphere, hot bods.
Oh, yeah.
James Earl Jones and half of a cheesy monster.
Yeah. The monster's a letdown. That's the third act is weak. Third act is weak. James Earl Jones must dynamite the monster.
Okay, so here's the stats. It's 1982, hour 22 minutes, rated R. It's a UK film shot in Greece. So I looked a couple different places. I didn't find any budget or gross info on it. And so it doesn't really matter. No money info on this one.
Made for no money.
Right. 10% on Rotten Tomatoes, which we haven't really done before, but it felt relevant in this case.
That's unfair. That's unfair.
Agreed. I actually agree with you. There's agree.
No fucking, there are 10%, man. That's ridiculous.
That's harsh.
Those people they have standards that are just stupid. Like,
well,
I feel like the guys who are active on Rotten Tomatoes are like, it wasn't Dune, 0, like, it's the wrong place for that review.
I agree. I also think, like, as far as sea monster movies go, it's perfectly fine. I will say, if you want to explore this movie and just see what we're talking about at all, but don't have intention to watch it, the trailer for this movie is awesome.
Oh,
it's so good. It makes me want to watch it again.
So I just got Letterboxd to track all the movies, and I'm using it for the show, and I don't know how to do that, but I think that we could do something here with the audience with Letterboxd, probably. So it's got a 2.6 on Letterboxd.
Out of 5, I'm guessing?
Out of 30. No, out of 5.
Out of 30. Well, it could have been 10.
588 reviews. Hold on. Well, look what the tide pulled up. This starts off as brother Neil Grice technically on his honeymoon with his new wife Sherry Grice in the Greek Isles, trying to track down his sister, who's gone missing for some time on this remote isle where the locals are suspicious of strangers and the children act as though they are in their own mischievous cult of our own creation. Anyway,
you're doing the Wilson review right now. I've only got you from the nose up.
Hey, neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a reference. You're right. The reviews even here are pretty bad, but oh well.
I found it to be sort of like a James Earl Jones as Indiana Jones, if Indiana Jones was on vacation in Greece meets
and
Jaws.
Very drunk.
Yeah, drunk.
Just like angry. So, all right, let's set it up real quick. Kreese and his new wife they're in some ridiculously awesome yacht, and they're showed up at this Greek Isle. They're on their honeymoon.
They're on a yacht? I missed the yacht.
Yeah, they have a beautiful motorboat. And
it's their motorboat. Okay.
Yeah, it's a yacht. What is a yacht to
first
you?
of all, a yacht is like a house on the ocean.
Sure, but I mean, like, it is. It's got like a galley and a bedroom and stuff.
So first of all, the movie opens in some ancient ritual sacrifice.
Oh yeah, in the past.
Of a young naked woman by old sweaty men. And immediately I'm like, Greg, he's done it again.
So I have terrible news for you about bargain basement schlock movies.
Yeah, I know it.
They lean heavily on the TNA,
And the sacrifice of young naked women.
Sometimes. But I just kind of thought, as a lady who loves ladies, you would be down for that.
It's a slightly different thing.
I guess so.
So then we meet up with the Karate Kid and his new wife. Karate Kid guy. He's not the Karate Kid. He's
head of Cobra Kai.
Yes.
He's here, and Kreese. So he's actually, what's cool is he's so affable. Because if you've only known him as Kreese, where he's such a dick, this guy's super cool.
He is, yeah.
He's very nice, very friendly. He's genuinely seems like a decent guy. The only complaint I have is that I hate these rich fucks. They are just such.
So I didn't get
Trust
that
fund.
right away, but yeah,
You're
okay,
not
I hear you.
island hopping island to island on your yacht in Greece on your honeymoon with your beautiful hair. Unless you know what I mean.
So I got there's other clues to
my sister's
their wealth
on her gap
coming
year.
later. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. So he's hunting down his missing sister.
Yeah, and she's hanging out on this island. She's restoring art. She's an art restorer.
Yeah, and she seems to us, the audience, to be either on a lot of drugs or under some sort of trance.
Yeah, or just in need of, some kind of a psychiatric intervention. She's crazy. She is crazy. And it has one of my favorite depictions of crazy I've ever seen in a movie. Just like, yes, that is fucking insane. That is so like, it's a thing that could have never occurred to me. So I was just like, oh yeah, man. That's on another level.
I can get us there in 30 seconds.
Get me there.
Okay, so finds his sisters hanging out with James Earl Jones on this island, warned by the islanders, like, to go home, basically. They disagree. Are there, in his room, are there just, like, squid and octopus drying and hanging from the ceiling? Are they making, like, squid jerky?
They might be, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. So, Fry is the name of James Earl Jones's character. Is his girlfriend's there. He treats her like shit. He's a real asshole to her.
She's really nice.
They leave. After they leave and go to bed, James Earl Jones and Barbara, they go out on his boat. He scuba dives down into a cave that he's discovered. And it's like a sweet ass setup. This guy knows how to have a good time. He's got like a bottle of booze down there. It's all lit up. He's just he's just chilling in his cave.
Well, he's been working this. I mean, and that tells you that he's been working that cave for a while.
Yes. Yeah. So he blows this door open on the cave.
Yep.
It rattles the island. Everyone knows something is afoot.
This door on the cave. The cave contains an ancient Greek temple.
Yes. You're right. It's not just some door. It is a stoned-in structure.
Yeah. Blows it open.
Exactly. Blows it open.
Island has an earthquake.
So the next day, they're all hanging out on the beach, and we're getting to know our cast of characters a little bit more.
I'd like the part when they show up and say, hey, sis, here's your birthday present.
This is what you're trying to get to, yeah.
They give her a perfume, and then she immediately dumps the entire bottle of perfume onto her body and rubs the entire bottle of perfume into her body in a great, beautiful, sexy sequence. But while Kreese's girlfriend is watching and just like, what? Which is like wonderful, because that's how I felt too watching. I was like, that's a depiction of insanity I've never seen in my life. Thank you. Kudos. That moment and James Earl Jones's performance to me put this like, yep, this is what I love about these movies. It's get
wild, yeah.
Weird ideas, new ideas, a lot of bad stuff, a lot of just boring regular stuff, and occasionally just like a really awesome off the wall performance. And James Earl Jones is chewing scenery in this movie. It's ridiculous. He is so insane and wonderful and over the top, and just like quoting Shakespeare and belligerent, and just like, I don't know. I love his performance in this movie.
Well, and you're right, because they go out on the boat after that, because then she after pouring this on herself, goes into the water in her beautiful white outfit and just like wades around in the water, and her outfit becomes see-through, and it's a wonderful sequence. And then they're on the boat ride, and her brother is like, what is that smell? And the sister's like, oh, or the wife is like, oh.
Your sister's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with your sister.
She is not well. And then they kind of meet up with the girlfriend and James Earl Jones in their place at night, and he's like, bitch, he's like, your sister's out of her fucking mind. I think she's into some seriously good drugs. or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then when they get back from that boat ride is when you learn that a girl's gone out that day and has gone missing.
For clarity, what's going on with the sister is that she's been hired by a local convent to restore some Middle Ages art, some religious art that is very important to the convent. It is like about like founding stuff of the convent. And as she is restoring it, she is uncovering secrets in this art. And it seems like the knowledge of these secrets is also like affecting her, like it's possessing her. There is a kind of like, this movie is, and this is like where Master Rakas, I think that like, this is him showing, is that like, there are many plots and things happening that are only tangentially related to each other.
Yes.
Yeah. And also like, obviously he's drawing on Greek mythology, right? Like I think that he's drawing on the Chrysopteropus. There's those two things that what's his name in the Iliad has to pass between, and it's like if you sail your boat over there, you're gonna get sucked into that. And if you sail your boat over there, the sirens will get you. But it's the thing that's not the sirens. I think he's writing about the thing on the other side of the sirens here. But there's also like elements of Lovecraft, because as she uncovers what is in this art, it makes her crazy and possesses her. Like that knowledge turns her brain inside out. And what she is finding, the Mother Superior is very upset about. She doesn't want her to find this. And what they end up discovering is that actually the religious order here predates Christianity, and it was founded on virgin sacrifice. And that is a huge sacrilege for the Mother Superior. And that's what's up with the sister. What's up with James Earl Jones is that he's a treasure hunter who wants the gold that he thinks is in there. But in fact, I think it's just like lead obols,
right?
Greek death coins, and a monster.
Yeah. And he releases the monster.
Yeah. Shit.
And he's very mad at everybody else about it.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. He's just mad. I think he's just an angry man who drinks.
And quotes Shakespeare.
Yeah. I honestly, I just wonder if he was drunk. Yeah. I was like, I can't believe I'm in this movie. Yeah. Or if he just showed up and there was like nothing on the page, and he's like, well, I know Shakespeare, so I'm just gonna do this with this character.
Well, the other element of this virgin sacrifice is it's supposed to be a willing sacrifice.
Right.
So I think that part of her trance is her eventually sort of sending herself into the water. She realizes, oh, I'm the sacrifice.
Yeah, but that's not that willing. Like if you're
possessed. But she does. At that point, she realizes like this is my destiny. She goes. She takes the boat out by herself to sacrifice herself.
I'm just saying that submitting to your destiny is not willing. As a philosophical concept, this is your destiny. That's a command. Even if it comes from within you, that's not willingness. I don't know. I push back.
You have to be willing to follow the command.
No. I mean, she's like in a trance. She's delirious.
Yeah,
like,
I agree with that. If she's not in her own
possessed.
state of mind, she is possessed. Which actually...
She can't sign that. She was under duress. If I was her attorney and I went to sacrifice law for her, I would say that this contract is null and void. You can't.
Well, and that plays out because when she goes to sacrifice herself, her brother goes to save her. When he does, she does sort of snap out of it, and then
that's right.
And then makes out with her brother, which I don't know, maybe just an homage to Star Wars because James Earl Jones is in the movie. But
she made out with her brother. I forgot about that.
She does. She sure does. After he saves her, she gives him a big old kiss, and it's not just like a kiss; it's like a kiss.
He's very Greek.
He kisses her back.
Oh, see, they're rich. I told you these people were upper class. I told you. Are you watching White Lotus this season?
We didn't watch the second season yet. I know we're behind, but
oh wow,
I know.
Oh, okay.
Judged. Look, the baby. Once you have the baby, everything gets harder to watch.
Sure,
we've had to be real choosy.
Yeah. Okay. Give me that.
I'm up on Severance, which B-side of this episode, we should talk some Severance.
Oh, we can do that.
Although, by the time this airs, people will be so much further in front of us. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're right. We should stick to the timeless things.
Yes.
Like Blood Tide.
The monster's blown up by James Earl Jones. He sort of sacrifices himself, yeah?
Yeah, I think he's the willing
He's
sacrifice.
the virgin sacrifice, yeah.
He's not a virgin.
No,
but
clearly not.
He's a willing sacrifice. They were wrong. You know, it had to be willing. That they were like, it never said it had to be a virgin. We just kind of guessed. That's like what we've been doing.
Well, and when you think of how the door got there, it was like, did they just decide one day, like, maybe we don't have to kill virgins? Maybe we could just shut it into a place and not deal with it for the next couple hundred years.
Listen, mythology is full of holes. You don't need to, like, sure, maybe.
It's not like it comes out of the deep once a year.
Well, I mean, maybe that was part of the conversion to Christianity at the island or something.
There you go.
That. You know, that was part of the covenant, whatever the fuck that is.
He released all evil.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. This is the kind of movie I love. I love slightly dumb movies that have inventive characteristics that are like well made, that were done on a really low budget, so there was like nobody looking over anyone's shoulder, and you really get to see like the weird shit that the director can come up with. And like, it's super hit and miss. These kinds of movies, a lot of them are terrible, and like you stop watching them. But a lot of them are like, I couldn't stop watching this. It took me like 3 or 4 nights because my wife hated it, and so I'd watch it after she fell asleep. But I couldn't look away at James Earl Jones's performance. I just like had to finish it. It's not a movie I got bored of and had to bail on.
I spent most of the movie trying to figure out what was going on with him. And it turns out like nothing I thought was going on with him. But yes, it kept me watching for sure.
Well, I like the idea of like, let's just make a choice. Like, people can be any way. People can be any way. That's why I was really thrown in Dead and Buried when Dobbs comes down the hill, and I was like, look at all the fun choices they made for this character. And then I mean, like, it's fine, but on a certain level, I was kind of bummed out that it all tied up into like the mechanisms of that character, as opposed to just being quirks, you know, like, as opposed to just being the way he is.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, clearly in the script, the guy was a jerk. I wonder how much he added, like the watermelon thing. I just feel like that had to have been a choice that he made,
he was just
like,
angry on
in
set
the
that
moment.
day
I don't know. It just feels so out of, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like something someone would write. It feels like he was handed a watermelon and a knife, and he was like, who told you to bring me this knife? That's not how you open a watermelon. Do it. Like,
I don't know. I have seen stuff where people like just smack a melon on the bottom.
Sure, but that's not what he does at all.
Listen, again, I contend that we could both be correct here. I think it could have been a choice because he's angry. But also, when I remember watching it, the whole, like, that's not how you open a watermelon thing, it felt like it might have been a cultural move. And it might have been James Earl Jones's culture.
She also makes fun of him when he does it. She's like, oh, big man, or something like that. And then, like, it is acknowledged. The fiance, Sherry, is like, to Barbara, is like, you know, he's kind of a jerk. And Barbara's basically like, yeah, but he's got a big dick. So,
I presume James Earl Jones did.
Yes. And that's, you know, why women stay with men usually.
Sometimes it's a factor.
No.
Never. You speak for all women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Money, stuck in a situation, never is the reason. His dick's just too big. I can't let it go. Never.
Fine.
From my conversations with women, most guys who have giant dicks really don't know how to use them. It's just pretty painful for the woman, to be honest. You guys seem obsessed with it. Women don't really care that much.
No, we're not that obsessed with it. It's not
with
good
dick
to have
size?
I don't think so.
Men famously not worried about their dick size.
I mean, I'm not. That's the button.
All right, so
I can't. I mean, I guess some guys are. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in the minds of other men, to be honest.
I agree with you as far as like his performance and the scenery and like generally just very easy to follow, succinct story.
Yeah.
However, I do feel like there's a lot of build up, and maybe this is because I watched the trailer before we started talking.
Yeah.
Man, the trailer builds you up to think like,
oh, really?
this is gonna be crazy. Like,
Never even watched the trailer.
and I feel like the religious stuff doesn't really pay off. Like, at the end of the day, the monster's containable by a stone door or being blown up. So they just didn't have the right technology to get rid of the thing. Like, none of the religious stuff is actually relevant or causes any sort of harm to the monster. Like, it's not like the solution isn't let's not feed it a virgin and let's come up with some clever way to stop it. It's just blow it
Let's
up.
feed it some dynamite.
Yeah. It's Tremors.
Yeah.
Great movie. I love Tremors.
Interesting thought. So that is to me like Master Rakas to a T. There's elements in it that he just wanted to put into a script or a movie that actually, like, they're not tight. They're a mess. They're friggin' loose. Not everything adds up. Not everything needs to even be there. He just thought it was neat. You're talking about Blind Date. This guy is blind at the beginning of the movie and has to spend the whole movie visualizing through a tape recorder. It's not important to the plot.
It just is what is happening.
Yeah, I mean, like, every single scene where he uses the tape recorder in a way that, like, solves a problem could have just not. Just not. He could have had a flashlight. Like,
okay.
Yeah. It's just, I don't recall it being important in the movie at all, really. You know, like, I think about, like, television, like modern television, and what is good about a 12-hour movie that is not good about a 90-minute movie. And the only thing I can come up with is that you just get to spend more time. Not every scene is important. Not every scene needs to move the plot. Some scenes can just be there. This is, to me, what would be good about having that thing be so fucking long. You can have stuff in there that's just interesting or just expands the world or expands the character or whatever. And inserting those things, I think, can leave the audience guessing. Like, oh, is that important? You know, like, there's red herrings everywhere. I don't know if that's important. Oh no, that's just how life is. There's just things like that. Whereas in a movie, to some extent, everything needs to get you to where you're going. And I kind of like that so much in movies like this have nothing to do with getting us to where we're going. And I know that's kind of counterintuitive.
I was gonna say it's counter to some things you've said before.
I like both. When it's done, I know, because okay, I have said, if we go back and roll the tape and we go back to my review of, for example, Return of the Living Dead, I point out that, like, there is nothing in this script that is not, like, necessary. Like, every single thing in the script is setting something up that happens down the road that is calling back something else in the script, and it's like this masterpiece of interconnected pieces of dialogue, scenes, visual references. Like, it is truly an impressive masterpiece of that. But I also said, it's not normal for me to like that. I normally like things that are kind of a disaster a lot more. It just so happens that, like, when that's done really, really well, it's hard to not be impressed by it.
The point of this movie is, regardless of whether the monster actually needed virgin sacrifices or not, it's what has built the culture of this island, and it is what has shaped sort of the place and time where they're at. It's a small island. You know, the kids have these traditions around this. Like, you can tell that it's like a deep-seated part of the setting. So it's relevant in that this movie is about the setting and the monster. It's like Jaws. Jaws is also about the setting and the monster.
Yeah, and it is trying to be Jaws.
Right.
You know. Oh, yeah, a bunch of people die. The monster attacks a bunch of people and rips people to pieces. We forget this. And then that's when, and finally when his girlfriend gets killed, James Earl Jones goes into action. That's when he decides, I'm going to blow this fucking
Well, because when I was like, oh, he does like her. I wasn't sure. And it turns out he's quite fond of her.
Yeah,
I think he says almost exactly that.
Yeah.
And then the town is doing some sort of ritual sacrifice of a young girl at some point. Unclear to me if it's just, maybe I missed this, maybe it's clear to you, but thinking back on it, I can't remember if they actually thought they were sacrificing her, or if they were doing just sort of a ritual.
Yeah, I don't know. I like this stupid movie. That's
Well,
I never need to watch it again. But
where does it rank for you in the last 4 movies that we've watched?
what are the last 4 movies that we've
Serial
watched?
Mom. And
Below.
this is, I guess, I'll also get Letterboxd, because this is what we can do on Letterboxd, is sort of like have this information. So, Serial
Below
Mom.
Serial Mom.
Below Serial Mom. Okay. Dead and Buried.
Way below Dead and Buried.
Okay. And then Angel.
Par with Angel.
Okay.
Par with Angel. Because they're both, to me, like exactly that. Like these schlock. Angel's definitely a little bit better. Angel's a little bit better. The script is... There's more characters. They're more better. It's a slightly better.
It's more
film.
relevant to like our to life currently. For me, like
yeah.
For
sure.
me, Angel being a queer positive movie makes me like it because now I'm like studying a time and place that has interest and relevance in my own life, whereas like this movie doesn't have any of that for me.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's true. I've never ever been a treasure hunter who had to blow up a ancient sea monster on a Greek isle. I don't love the moralizing in Angel. Like I also like Angel has a certain amount of political baggage with it that's very Reagan-y, and I don't love that. It's weird. What's interesting about it is that it like seems to be at odds with that. Like, well, this is what makes the money. We gotta like we're an exploitation film, so we gotta lean into fears of the degradation of the youth and moral depravity in society, but we're not those people. That's not what we're thinking about, you know.
Or it's like it almost doesn't know it's being influenced by that. It thinks it's being counterculture in a way it's not.
It's possible,
really. Yeah.
Whereas this movie has none of that I'm aware of. This movie is just about sea monsters and boobs. Like,
do you have a favorite like sea monster movie?
Sea monster movie, The Abyss, but that's a cheat.
Yeah,
that's a total cheat.
agreed. Why is that a cheat?
Because it's not about a sea monster, really.
But those all the great movies. That's the truth right there.
No, I mean like the sea monster is not even like
A monster.
Like there's not like a sea monster in that movie. So
yeah,
there's
I guess there's the threat of a sea monster in that movie.
The threat in the movie is the Navy SEALs who are slowly losing their mind. Not the sea monster. The sea monster is like a mystery. It's like you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a horror film at all. So it's hard to call it a sea monster movie. Sea monsters.
I pulled up a list because I was thinking about this too.
Yeah, I don't know. Give me what you got.
All right, so I've never seen any of the Meg movies with the like mega shark.
No
I don't.
interest.
Yeah, me either. Shape of Water. Did you see that a couple years back?
This is cancel me.
Sure.
I don't like being that director.
Oh, is it Del Toro? Is that who does that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I respect him. People love him. He seems like a really cool guy. Just his movies don't land for me. They're like too cutesy. This is really gonna piss me. It feels Doctor Who-y. All of his stuff feels like it's for people who like Doctor Who and manga or something. I can't.
Which there's a ton of those people, and
there are, and but I'm not that guy.
It's not for you.
Yeah.
Jaws, classic.
Yeah, Jaws is so good. I mean, it's okay. If Jaws is a sea monster movie, probably Jaws. But do continue.
Lake Placid.
I never saw it.
Cloverfield, which was on this list. I saw that once many years ago.
Nah, that's more of a Godzilla movie if it's that.
But is Godzilla a sea monster?
No. He comes from the sea, but you can't call him a sea monster.
Okay. I'm going to have to revisit Cloverfield.
The danger is not in the water. For a sea monster, it has to be dangerous in the water.
Okay, agreed.
Yeah.
Next year our like spooky movie theme is going to be found footage movies, so Cloverfield will make that list. Let you know how that goes.
Ooh.
And then The Abyss I had on here, which also love that movie, and Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Which I remember liking. I think I liked that movie, but I don't remember it.
I didn't like
so
Pacific
I have
Rim.
to revisit
I didn't like
it.
Pacific Rim. It didn't do it for me.
I was entertained by that movie in my memory.
I hated it so much.
You don't like stupid. I like though just like pop fighty action movies.
I like stupid movies that don't cost any money. The minute it's stupid and has a huge budget, I feel it feels like an insult or something. I don't know what it is. It just offends me. It's like, you have too much money to be this dumb. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just playing dumb, and I don't think that's appropriate. I somehow that offends my sensibilities.
Sure.
You know, you can't. This is not Roger Corman. Go make this movie for $800,000. Okay, then we can talk. Go make Robot Jocks. That is perfect dumb.
I understand that take. And I'm just like, burn the money. Show me this stupid shit.
No, it's not a respect for the money. It feels like you're slumming or something. Like, I don't know what it is. It's like we're making a big studio movie, but we're just like a regular movie. I don't know. Like, I can't explain it, but it, like, something about it really annoys me.
Yeah. I've gotten to that place.
You don't get the same qualities either. Like, it's not that. Like, when I was young, I didn't understand what it meant for, like, an album to be overproduced, or when, like, all of a sudden, like a punk band's album in particular to be overproduced. And now as an older man, I get it. Mm-hmm. And like, oh yeah, that's bad. That ruins it. Once you spend too much money on this, it stops being what it was.
Well, because usually what comes with a lot of money is also a lot of other demands and hands in the pie and things you can't do suddenly and people you can't piss off.
And also, like, everything gets too polished. All of the good things, all of the things that I love about this movie, for example, Blood Tide, are things that, like, if there had been another revision of the draft, probably script would have been edited out. But, like, they had to film. You know, like, there was just, like, there's all these, like, weird little moments and weird choices made, and, like, things that, like, you know, if we had more time, if we could shoot another take, if we could go into rewrites or do pickups or any of that, like, maybe none of that would be in the movie.
Right. Well, you probably don't have a studio cut on this movie,
you
right?
Definitely don't.
Yeah, right.
What happened in the 90s is this thing like the golden age of independent cinema, when Quentin Tarantino and
even like Kevin Smith,
thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Their independent movies got recognition by high-minded people. And then from that, I think there's a through line, like this gradual evolution where independent, like, well, first off, none of them are actually independent. Like, Fox Searchlight has Fox's fucking money. That's not independent. Oh, Greg, that's not what no, independent means your credit cards. Like, it's independent. There is no studio
but that might, if
it.
someone buys it, if the studio buys it, then it might stay independent but get released by a bigger studio.
Okay. Yeah. But, like, and then they're going to recut it, and then they're going to insist on reshoots and stuff like that. But, like, you know, this was distributed by, like, Carolco or something like that.
Arrow or, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, genuinely independent distributor producers who had no budget. And I think that my point is that, like, independent movie has become synonymous with awards eligible kind of things. Mm-hmm. Whereas independent movie meant, like, I sure hope that this one packs the drive-in. When you go back in time, you know, I really hope that this sells some
circuit. Maybe someone will notice it.
I don't even, no, not even like that. Literally, just
back in the day, I think so.
I hope people come to this movie and make out and ignore it. That's what independent movie meant. You know, just barely, it's sort of a distraction. Like, there was, not that these are actually independent, but sort of like Giallo movies, which is a branch of Italian horror that I'm going to make you watch. They're typified by beautiful young women being stalked by an invisible hunter with black gloves and a knife. And they are Italian, and they're dubbed, and they're terrible, but they're wonderful. And most of them, like, the plots sort of make sense. And it's because of the way that Italians went to the movies. This is what I have been told. Apparently, you and your friends would go to the cinema with a couple bottles of wine and smoke cigarettes in the theater and talk to each other throughout the whole movie and be like, oh, wait, something's happening. And then you would see, oh, wow, that was a crazy murder. Back to the wine and conversation. Like, you know, they were half ignored movies, but the function of the movie wasn't to make art, it was to sell tickets.
Well, and that's similar to Pre-Code. Like Pre-Code, from what I understand, you'd go to the theater, you might walk in the middle of a movie, you'd wait and watch the next movie until you had to leave. You might not finish that movie.
And
get
you
up
would
and
come back around
out.
to the A movie and catch the first half the second time around, which
if
is
you
how
stayed,
which is how I saw so many movies on HBO or whatever, like I saw the movie, but not in order.
Well, and not even just Pre-Code. That seems to, right. It was like Psycho was the movie we talked about that really tried to stop that. Like he said, you need to come at the beginning and stay through the movie. We're not going to let people in. So all the way until the 60s, that's how people were going to movies.
Yep. I think that's accurate. I think that's
just channel surfing at the movie theater. Just walk in.
Some of that. Yeah.
Anyway.
Some of that. I don't think anybody was walking into the middle of like Gone with the Wind. I think there were event movies, and then there was movie night. Like whatever. You get a lot of people complaining about there's no more middle budget movies, there's no more low budget movies, everything is so expensive, and that is true. But I think that what they're wanting is more early Spike Lee, early Tarantino, early. Like, I'm trying to think
there's low budget movies all over streaming. There's just not, they're just not very good.
They're genuinely bad.
Yeah.
They're irredeemably bad in a lot of cases. Yeah, exactly. I think
maybe there's some gems in there. Maybe we take a detour from Night Flight and see if we see what's happening on I don't know, made for Netflix. More of those movies fall in like the Hallmark movie category than the independent film category.
They're still like, they may not be doing their own test audiences, but they're going off of what they see working for other test audiences to some extent, I think. Mm-hmm. And like, so they're self-censoring to some sense, right? That's my vibe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's not, people aren't going out there like, I made this movie and then I went to Netflix and I showed it to them and I was like, hey, do you want to buy this? Like, that's not what's happening.
Yeah. I'm sure you could have talked to Master Rakas and been like, does that make sense? Like, why are you doing, like, none of this is, I don't think that needs to be in your script. And like, he's just gonna be like, what do you know? I am the Master Rakas, so fuck you. There's like so many things that show up in his movies where like my wife and I watch them and we do kind of talk through them and just imagine Master Rakas being like, put another pizza in the movie. Americans are laying love a pizza. There's got to be, and in this scene they're eating a pizza. There's a scene in The Cold of the Night. One scene, for reasons inscrutable, a character introduces another character to her mother, who is played by Tippi Hedren. Does not need to happen in the movie at all. There's a reference to the birds when there are too many birds singing at the restaurant and she freaks out about it. And then there's like almost mugging to the camera. My mom's really got a thing about birds. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's stupid. I wonder. I love it. It's just, he didn't get it. I don't know. This is what I want. I don't want you to be thinking so much.
Yeah, right. I get that. So one thing, like, there's not much of a B-side to be had for this episode because we've been talking about the movie for so long, which is great. But I remember your thesis film in college, you attempted to shoot underwater.
We did shoot underwater.
You didn't attempt. Right. You attempted.
For 3 days.
Yeah. So I wondered, because there's a great shot where the creature's coming up and her feet, she's kicking in the water. A really pretty shot. So I wondered if you wanted to speak to shooting underwater at all for our audience and that experience.
It's really hard.
I remember. That's what I remember. It takes a lot of light.
You're gonna owe a lot of money to your rental company.
Did you ruin a camera?
No, I didn't ruin a camera, but like we did send back some sandbags full of water because we didn't have the right stuff to do that. Like you still have everything is trying to float away, so you have to weight it down.
Right.
And we had 3 lights for our underwater kit. And we had a hydrophone, which would allow one person to speak and have it like transmit into everybody in the water. But like we also had like, we had to create an underwater void, like a blacked out void, and we were in a pool. And so we had to have like huge tarps and stuff that we were trying to cover the pool in, and they were always floating away and stuff. And I had done my best to like build some some set pieces. I wanted a character like to be laying in bed and then like get sucked down through that bed into water. And it kind of worked. And then I found out that actress, she told me she could swim, but she was not comfortable. It sucked. We were in the pool for 3 days, and I mean like days I was underwater, and she would not work. It was really like I was bad. We had to like invent a whole, I was like, okay, cool. So I don't even know what we're doing now. Like one of those.
Because she was scared of the water? Or?
Yeah, she did not tell me that. I was like, we're going to be working at the bottom of a pool, scuba, like there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here. And she was like, that'll be fine. It was not fine. We found there was a scuba school near where I was living. It's gone now. It's called Dostals. And they had a big pool in there, and they had all the scuba equipment. And I don't even think we gave them money. I think that like I just convinced them to let us use their
student
place
filmmaking
overnight. And like they gave us all the scuba equipment.
Wow.
Unlimited access to the pool. And all, had a guy there to keep our tanks full and stuff all night. It was insane.
We used to go, and this was in Florida, this didn't work in New York. We would go to Panera and get their day old bread, and that would be like crafty for breakfast. And they just give it to us for free when I lived in Florida.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's helpful.
We had all these little scrappy ways of getting stuff for free.
Scrappy ways. My freshman year of college, I lived in overflow housing. Mm-hmm. So they stuck me in the YMCA on 47th Street, and it was not, some people lived in nicer dorms. This was not very great. The room was very tiny, and the showers on our floor had cockroaches in them. So I would shower in the actual YMCA gym with a lot of dudes who wanted to talk to you while you were in the shower. Like Fun. It was just like a shower. Like 30 shower
social.
It was social showering. Just like some like 65-year-old man comes up to you in the shower and is like, "Hey buddy, how you been? Oh yeah, I'm not talking about it. You bet the horses." It's like just like crazy shit like that.
Bathhouse vibes.
Bathhouse vibes, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But my RA was Mimi I'm First.
Yeah, that's right.
Drag queen, and Braden is
at that dorm. That's funny. Oh my goodness.
And I knew them as Braden.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to go at like 1 a.m. There was a diner a block away, and I don't remember how we like got in with this guy, but the guy who owned the diner, he worked there, he ran it, and at like 1 a.m. he would change the soups. It was a 24-hour diner, so if we went in, then he would let us have all the free soup we wanted with crackers.
Nice.
And so we would just sit in this diner for like hours shooting the shit, eating soup. We were fucking poor, man. We were broke.
That's great.
That's good soup.
That was a very New York story.
Oh yeah, it is. Is there another thing? Master Rakas. I don't know. The cold of night, man, that movie is so weird.
Blind Date is on the docket now. So we've got coming up. People always want us to talk about.
You're gonna be so mad at me when you watch Blind Date, because you're just gonna. It's a lot like this.
This is fine though. I'm not mad about this.
What did I watch that for? What is that movie? Why? Tammy and the T-Rex. Do that next. You're gonna like that one.
All right. But we'll do Blind Date, and Tammy and the T-Rex will be our next up.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I think we had one other.
Well, and Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we've watched, which we can go on whenever.
I love that movie.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about that one, I guess.
I love that movie. That's a great movie. It's just a phenomenal movie.
And then I still think you got to check out The Substance.
I know.
It reminds me so much of the body horror we've watched, and I haven't seen anything like it. Certainly, because there aren't indies coming out.
A younger version of herself comes out of her body. Okay.
That's like the baseline. But because indie movies aren't doing this anymore, unless a big budget movie takes up the helm of body horror, who else is going to do it at this point? Yeah. So it's interesting.
They talk about how horror reflects the cultural fears of its time. I do wonder if a fear of loss of bodily autonomy amongst women could be kind of behind a kind of resurgence of body horror, of something coming out of like the substance, like for example.
So that's, yes, I think that's part of it. I think also like Ozempic culture has something to do with this movie. I think that's in there too.
There are people who think that that's going to like save humanity, by the way. Ozempic.
Sure. There's also like the idea that we were getting better at being okay with different body types and different body images. And now in just like a matter of months, like that's all sucked back in.
Yep.
To
suck it in.
I
gotta suck it
to
in.
Not being okay with it.
I am. I'm not personally body positive, not towards myself,
but to other people.
Sure, yeah. Be who you want to be. That's fine. I would like to. I would like to be fitter.
Well, and that's. I mean, there's wanting to be fitter, and then there's like what Hollywood people chase, which is a different scenario.
I love that there is like more, so it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like I think that there's been a lot more transparency about that lately. Like I saw that it was coming out about like, well, first off, steroid use, right? Like every dude who has to take off his shirt in a movie has been on steroids for forever because they don't drug test you. It's not the Olympics.
Right.
And that's how the work works.
They're all on HRT
or
testosterone.
Tests. Yeah. Or there's a couple different ones that they do. They're on gear, to use the parlance of the kids. And I think it's great to like, it has altered people's expectations of what's possible. But I think it's probably also maybe contributed to a normalizing of testosterone or of steroid and testosterone use for like gym rat purposes. Cause like the Gen Z boys, the broccoli heads are all on roids apparently. And I don't think that's a good idea. I don't know why I think it's a bad idea, but I don't think it's a good idea.
Usually these things don't play out very well. It's always a great idea until it's not.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
My one friend was like, dude, why aren't you on creatine? That would be good for you. It improves cognition. It does all these things. Like you should at least be on creatine. Keeping in mind that I work out in fits and starts. Like it would be wasted on me. I looked into it. I do not need to be on creatine. And in fact, it would probably not be a healthy choice for me.
A podcast I think you'd enjoy that you'll never listen to. But oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name right now. I used to listen to it. But it basically debunks food myths.
Oh, yeah. Such as
all sorts of things, anything from specific people. Like they did a Peterson, what's his name?
Jordan Peterson.
They did a Jordan Peterson episode. They did a Biggest Loser episode and went into all the dark shit on Biggest Loser. They'll cover certain books, fad diets.
Yeah.
They did a whole episode on the people who like the myth behind the apple cider vinegar and the Bragg Company, and they go all the way back.
They do Blue Zones.
They've done. I don't know every episode they've done, but
I'd never read anything about the Blue Zones, but my wife described it to me, like what Blue Zones are. It's like the 7 places on Earth where people live beyond 100 years on like a pretty regular basis, and when they look at the Blue Zones, they find that like basically these are people who don't work too hard. They have a good social life. They hang out with people. They're very, very sociable. They have a healthy attitude about work-life balance, but mostly they eat a lot. They don't eat any like real red meat. They eat a lot of beans, a lot of fiber, and seafood primarily, right? Not a lot of carbs, but not
Mediterranean diet.
You know? Yeah, kind of a Mediterranean diet, exactly. And I thought, oh, that sounds real. And like, I don't know. I thought Blue Zone was like maybe like a UN body or something had like, like I thought some governmental body had like studied this or whatever. And then the Netflix came out with a documentary and this guy was like, hi, I'm the guy who wrote Blue Zones. And I was like, wait, the guy. And within 10 minutes, I was like, this is bullshit. This guy is so, I could smell the sociopathy.
They probably would have an episode on that. Like it's called Maintenance Phase. And they'll choose like one person or one piece of mythology and they'll dig into it.
Is it because maintenance is not a real thing? Is that why? Is that the myth?
Maintenance Phase? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where their title came from.
Maintenance Phase is like, okay, I've got my body the way I want it. Now I can.
You're right. Now I just maintain. Right.
Yeah. And I think that's not real. I think that's
Well,
probably,
I think they would probably agree with you.
I think that's what they're saying.
I'll see
Well, no,
if
that's what I said. I was positing that was the initial thesis. But yeah, the guy's full of shit. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna look into whether or not this is for real or not. And like almost immediately, I found all this information that was like, he is full of shit, and this isn't real. And actually, most of the data that he was claiming pointed to people being so old in these places is pension fraud. People claiming that grandma is still alive. Or lost records. Yeah, exactly.
That's incredible.
He wasn't doing his own primary research. He would just go down to the Hall of Records and be like, wow, look at how many people are still alive. Yeah. And it was just like, no, nope. not actually true.
That's okay. We've got who's the billionaire guy who's like, I'm 47, but actually I'm 38 because
a lot
he's
of them
like,
want to live forever. I want to live forever. I think
but
dope.
They just made a documentary about this guy. This guy is on a whole different. This is a whole different thing. Like he goes to bed at 8:30 and he's taking all these pills. You haven't heard of? They just did a Netflix documentary.
Wait, was he the guy who was like, this stuff was making me age faster, and he stopped because
No, he's the billionaire who's trying to live the longest.
Yeah, that seems like a worthy goal. I'm into that.
Yeah, except the problem is in order to live the longest, you can't actually do anything.
I don't think that's going to be the solution. I think that
Brian Johnson, the tech billionaire who's trying to live longer through anti-aging experiments.
I think that Kurzweil. I love that we're here now. Kurzweil, he coined the longevity singularity as a concept, which is that basically human longevity, according to his thesis, and this may not be true, in fact, has followed something kind of like the Moore's law, where the number of transistors on a CPU doubles roughly every 18 months. He was saying it follows a similar curve, which means that there's a singularity coming where we're going to approach sort of a parabellum, or a point where the curve is vertical, and that will be when people basically just keep living longer and longer and longer, but more longer and more longer until you're living so much longer that you are effectively immortal. And he thinks that we're coming up on that soon. But I don't think that when we figure it out, and I do think we'll figure it out, because I think that it's a biomechanical problem, and ultimately if we don't blow ourselves up, we'll solve that. But I don't think it's going to be about healthy living. I think it's going to be about we just flip this little switch inside of you, we just flip on this different, genome thingy, and then that's not an issue anymore. Senescent cells. That's a big one. Senescence. They've done this stuff with lab mice. You know what?
Yeah. You want to live forever? I don't want to live forever.
I do. I totally do. Yeah, I do.
I feel like there will come a time for me where I'm like, this is good.
No way, man. I love it. I'm so into it. I'm so into it. Every day is the best day of my life. It's great.
It's not like I'll be tired or worn out. I just feel like, I don't know. I've never been scared. Of course, if someone came to me and was like, you can stay this age and live for 300 years, I'd be like, hell yeah, let's do it.
You can opt out anytime you want, man. We're not talking about becoming unkillable.
Boy, the assisted suicide conversation really it was gonna heat up then. I always love where we end up. We started at blood tide. We didn't land too far, I don't think. Weird diets, living forever, ritualistic
Mediterranean diet. Yeah, right there. We're in the Greek Isles for sure. It's of a piece.
Sacrificing virgins to live forever. We're not far off from that.
A lot of those billionaires have those blood boys where they change out their blood.
Oh my God.
They just I think Elon Musk, every day he wakes up and he has a guy who comes in and they swap blood. That's what I think.
Why do you think he wants so many children?
No, well, do you want?
Do you want to get into that? Because we can talk all about that now, Meredith, if you really want to get into that.
What time is it? Friends, what time is it? Why don't we?
We don't have to do that today.
We will. We should. That'll be cited at some point.
We should talk about that when we cover some Malthusian ecological sci-fi. In the 70s.
Name one, because that sounds fun.
Oh my God, there's so many of them, but the key one is going to be something like Soylent Green is totally.
Oh yeah, is Soylent Green? I mean, I watched that in high school, and I think that when people are aware of that movie and then realize how often it is referenced, but
Soylent
Does that make this list? Do we think that's a forgotten?
We could throw it in there. It's a boring movie.
That's what you've said. I watched it for class, so any movie you got to watch in class was just like better than class.
Yeah. Every time I try to watch it, I'm like, I've seen it. I just keep falling asleep in it. Basically, though, there was like a whole thing. I think it was Silent Spring came out, which was about DDT, and there were all these fears, and also just like the political climate of overpopulation. That the world is overpopulated, and that is the core ecological problem that is going to hold us back. And 100%, that movie is about overpopulation. Like, there's not enough food to go around.
Right.
There's constant riots. When there's riots, we just come out with like bulldozers and scoop up all the people and take them away and stuff. Like, there's just people to spare. And
why don't we watch it? Let's do it.
Oh God.
How long is it?
It's 4.5 hours.
No,
it
feels not.
Feels like it. I don't know. I'm going to read the wiki because I've seen it enough times. I'll just refresh
that's
myself.
Fine. You could just.
I can't drag my wife into seeing this movie again. It's brutal. But like, there's a whole brand of sci-fi which was like depicting dystopian futures where there's too many people. You know,
Greg, the movie. The movie is an hour and 37 minutes long.
It feels so long. It is brutal.
I'm watching it. I'm going to watch it.
So slow.
I'm going to see if I agree with you on how slow it is.
It's Edward G. Robinson's last film. That's the one.
Okay, there's clearly so much to talk about. So we got to do an episode. I want to get into the Elon stuff.
You know, if you want to do that, as the other side of that coin, you should do Logan's Run, which is, I think, from roughly the same time period, but it is anti-Malthusian sci-fi. It is the exact opposite of this
Great.
movie.
We've got a series. Let's do it.
Malthusian sci-fi. But yeah, there was this whole idea that like we got to reduce the population, but which population? And honestly, like, I think that like, whether the people who thought that, like, whether that idea got into your head that like, the world is overpopulated. And I remember thinking that when I was a kid and being told that, and that's going to be a problem. There's not enough to go around. That was definitely coming from some motherfucking racists. That idea was coming from people who drove through the city and saw a lot of kids playing on the street and popping off the tops of fucking hydrants and said, there's just too many of these guys. Which guys? Those guys.
Yeah. Now it's, the cities are so dangerous. We gotta weed them out. Yeah. Send in the military. The cities are so dangerous.
Now that we have the neutron bomb.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just
you're not a Dead Kennedys fan.
Says people who've never been in the city or spend no time in the city. So dangerous.
I don't interact with those people, but I guess you do.
You interact with some of them.
Oh, my in-laws?
Yeah.
I don't think that they think
they don't think the city is dangerous.
They just think it's full of Democrats.
Well, so then what's going to be? Oh, that's the only reason they need to go send the military in. They don't need to believe it's dangerous.
That is true. I don't think that's going to be the claim at all if that happens. I think it's just going to be that the governor or the mayor of these cities is not helping us kick out the people we don't want in the country.
I think that'll be part of it, but I think it'll also be under the guise of like, look at all this crime. They need serious help to stop all this crime.
Yeah. Dear listener, Meredith and I both think that it's only a matter of time before our present government declare martial law and seize the sanctuary cities by force. So now you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe don't use this in the edit.
The longer we go, the more trouble we get in. I thought we were done in an hour. Now it's an hour 18.
A lot of that time was my kids interrupting. So I don't know if you have an hour-long episode yet.
It was like a minute of time. We've got it. We're good.
Good night.
All right.
Cut it. Stop the show.
All right.
See you guys next time on another Midnight Local.
Yes, and you can find us, like, we've got TikTok. I don't know if I'm still going to use TikTok. We're on Instagram. Go find us on Instagram.
Yeah.
And on Letterboxd. I'm excited to start playing with Letterboxd.
Did you make I have a Letterboxd account for myself. Did you make one for the show?
I haven't yet. No, not yet.
And I made a list for the show. We're going to figure out Letterboxd. And then since you're a fan of the show, once we figure it out, you'll know all about it.
We'll make sure you know.
You'll hear it here first on Midnight Local, wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, bye.